Mr. R wanted us to learn, and I, Anthony Hernandez,
And I, Tyler.
from his first period chemistry class, have learned at an A+ level the following concepts from the first 12 chapters of our chemistry book. This is not an inclusive list, but my selection of concepts from each chapter that I will remember. Chapter 1, we learned about chemistry and about problem solving in chemistry.
Alright, chemistry is the study of the composition of matter and the changes that matter undergoes.
Chapter 2, in Chapter 2 we learned about properties of matter and elements and compounds.
3 things for you: solid, liquid, gas.
Chapter 3 we learned about SI units and conversion problems and density.
The scientific notation is a given number written as a product of 2 numbers.
Chapter 4 we learned structure of a nuclear atom and how to define an atom.
So we got Dalton's atomic theory. I'm only going to read you a couple. All elements are composed of tiny invisible particles called atoms, and atoms of the same element are identical.
In Chapter 5 we learned models of the atom and quantum mechanical model.
The quantum mechanical model determines the allowed energies that electrons can have and how likely it is to find the electron at various locations around the nucleus.
In Chapter 6 we learned how to organize and classify elements.
Chemists use the properties of elements to sort them into groups.
In Chapter 7 we learned about ionic bonds and compounds and bonding in metal.
To find the number of valence electrons in an atom of a representative element, simply look at its group number.
In Chapter 8 we learned about molecular compounds and polar bonds and molecules.
The atoms held together by sharing electrons are joined by a covalent bond.
In Chapter 9 we learned about naming and writing formulas for ionic compounds, chemical compounds, and acid and bases.
Some ions, called polyatomic ions, are composed of more than one atom.
In Chapter 10 we learned about the measure of matter and chemical formulas.
You often measure the amount of something by one of the 3 methods: by count, mass, and volume. And a mole is equal to the atomic mass equivalent in mass.
In Chapter 11 we learned types of chemical reactions and types of reactions and aqueous solutions.
The skeleton equation is a chemical equation that does not indicate the relative amounts of the reactants and products.
In Chapter 12 we learned about chemical.
Balanced chemical equation provides the same kind of quantitative information that a recipe does.
Good job.